government today unveiled its political reform package, which follows the framework set by Beijing last August. Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam presented the reform proposals at the Legislative Council and uttered the catchphrase on the cover of the document, "Make it happen." But with no surprise concessions to appeal to the opposition camp, it remains to be seen how the administration will win enough votes to get the proposals passed in the legislature. We begin our coverage with a look at the outline of the reform package.
We are designing a system which we believe will be fair, open, transparent, and reasonably competitive in order to give the eligible voters a sufficient choice to select your chief executive. But where there is room for us to make the process more competitive, more democratic, I think we have met that objective.
Under the framework set by the National People's Congress Standing Committee, there will be a 1,200-member nominating committee. Lam explained today the makeup of this committee, with its 4 major sectors, will follow that of the existing election committee, and its electoral base won't be widened. As expected, there will be 2 key stages for nominating candidates. First, anyone interested in running will need a minimum of 120 recommendations by nominating committee members. Recommendations will be capped at 240 for each person. Each committee member can only recommend 1 person, which means up to 10 chief executive hopefuls will be able to enter the next stage. That is the nomination of CE candidates. This involves a secret ballot by the 1,200 committee members, who must nominate a minimum of 2 people. There will be no maximum number of nominations. Lam said these arrangements make the whole process more competitive.
If the system and the process is more competitive, it does imply that people from different political backgrounds should stand a higher chance of being selected or nominated to become a chief executive candidate.
But as Beijing's framework prescribes, each CE hopeful will need more than half of all committee members' support, that is, at least 601 votes, to become a final candidate in the one-person, one-vote election. If 2 or 3 CE hopefuls get more than 601 votes, they will become the final candidates. If more than 3 or less than 2 hopefuls get the majority endorsement, then this will be left to local legislation to deal with. And the final territory-wide vote will be a single round of balloting using the first-past-the-post system. The candidate with the highest number of votes will become the CE-elect without requiring the candidate returned to obtain more than half of the total number of valid votes. And blank votes will be considered spoiled votes.
Well, Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying called the political reform package a milestone in the city's democratic development. Speaking to the media before the package was presented at LegCo, Leung reiterated that the framework set by the NPC Standing Committee cannot be changed or retracted. Government officials will be launching a campaign this Saturday to promote the reform proposals to the public. But the CE said he won't be there, as he'll be attending the ASEAN Leadership Forum in Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, the State Council's Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office has praised the reform package, saying it's legal, practical, rational and pragmatic. According to the state-run Xinhua news agency, the office urged Hong Kong people to seize this historic opportunity to realise universal suffrage. But all eyes are now on whether the SAR government can persuade any of the pan-democratic legislators to support its reform package. Liz Yoon has that side of the story.
A show of force by both supporters and critics of the government's reform package outside LegCo this morning. Inside the chamber, members of the pan-democratic camp made their presence felt. They made their statement after Chief Secretary for Administration Carrie Lam finished her announcement.
It is a small circle election and it tried to control the voting results, and Hong Kong people will become just election tool for the government. We would say no to the proposal, and the pan-democratic camp will veto the proposal.
They then walked out in protest, 21 of them through the main door, while others, such as Dennis Kwok of the legal sector and IT sector's Charles Mok, went out through the back. Leung announced the Pan-Democrats will launch a territory-wide campaign this Sunday to explain to the public why they can't accept the package.
The Chief Secretary had already admitted that if you pocket it, it will be the end game for any electoral model. We are hopeful that Hong Kong people will stand with us to veto this model once they have been explained clearly what the Central People's Government and the SAR government are aiming to do.
But not all of the Pan-Democrats took part. Democratic Party's Sin Chung Kai and People Power's Raymond Chan and Albert Chan did not meet the media with the rest. Leung Kwok Hung of the League of Social Democrats stayed in the chamber to ask Carrie Lam a question. Civic Party's Ronnie Tong also stayed put.
We are all fighting for the same thing. I'm saying that I will veto the package. I've said it many times. So what more do you want from me?
Tong and Dennis Kwok will later meet with central government officials in Beijing to discuss a possible way forward. Accountancy sector lawmaker Kenneth Leung, who didn't attend this morning's meeting, insisted he will veto the proposal. But he said he will poll his constituents first.
Just to confirm the view of my constituents. And I do have confidence in them that they will all say no to the current proposal.
It's not just the Pan-Democrats who are going all out to campaign. With the help of supporting organizations and district councillors, the pro-establishment camp announced it will also be reaching out to the public to help the government promote its reform package. 41 pro-establishment lawmakers signed a joint declaration today in support of the new electoral method. New People's Party's Regina Ip warned that the city will be stuck with the old election method if the government's package is vetoed.
Universal suffrage will not solve all problems, but it would definitely enhance the credibility and mandates of the chief executive and help and enable the next administration to focus on tackling Hong Kong's many deep-rooted problems.
Liz Yun, TVB News.